Physical products have a cost structure most people understand intuitively. Make one unit, pay for one unit. Sell one unit, recoup one unit's cost. Scale the business, scale the costs proportionally. More inventory, more storage, more shipping, more handling, more of everything that makes the physical product exist and reach the customer. Digital products don't work that way. And that structural difference, the way costs behave as volume grows, is what makes digital products economically distinct from anything physical. The concept is called marginal cost, the cost of producing one additional unit. For a physical product, marginal cost is real and ongoing. Each additional unit requires materials, requires production time, requires packaging and delivery. These costs don't disappear at scale. They might decrease slightly through efficiency, but they never approach zero. The 1,000th unit costs roughly what the first did, maybe a little less, but still something. For a digital product, the marginal cost approaches zero. Once the product exists, the ebook, the course, the software, the template, selling the next copy costs almost nothing. Server costs, bandwidth, payment processing, fractions of what the physical equivalent would cost. The product is created once. The cost of creating it is fixed. Every sale after that adds revenue against a cost base that barely moves. The financial implications of this compound significantly over volume. A physical product business that grows from 100 units to 10,000 units has to scale its cost structure proportionally. A digital product business that grows from 100 sales to 10,000 scales its revenue, while its costs grow marginally. The margin expands with scale, not because the business became more efficient, because the fundamental economics are structured differently. At 100 sales, the fixed cost of creating the product represents a significant cost per unit. At 10,000 sales, that same fixed cost is distributed across 10,000 units. The cost per unit has dropped dramatically. The margin per unit has expanded dramatically. The product got more profitable not because anything changed, because scale does something different to a zero marginal cost model than it does to a physical one. This is why digital product businesses can achieve margins that physical product businesses rarely see. Not through superior operations, not through superior negotiating, through the structural economics of a cost model that doesn't scale with revenue. A software company with 10 million in revenue and 2 million in costs is achieving margins that a manufacturing company at the same revenue level almost certainly can't match. Not because the software company is better run, because their cost structure behaves differently as they grow. For someone building a side income stream or a small business, the implications are direct. A digital product created once can be sold without meaningful additional cost per unit. Not infinitely, not without effort to market and distribute, not without ongoing maintenance and improvement. But the fundamental constraint that limits physical product businesses, the cost that arrives with every sale, is structurally absent. Which changes the question from how do I afford to scale to how do I build the distribution that puts the product in front of enough people? The economics work at scale. The work is earning the scale.
Most content talks at you. This one sits with you. If that difference stood out, if this felt real instead of loud, like the video, subscribe. This channel is built for people who notice patterns. A digital product isn't just a product. It's an asset. And assets behave differently from products in one important respect. They compound. Not always, not automatically, but through specific mechanisms that physical products don't have, that change the value of the thing over time rather than depleting it. The first compounding mechanism is distribution. A physical product sitting on a shelf isn't building anything while it waits to be sold. A digital product published online is accumulating something even when it isn't actively being sold. Search presence, backlinks, reviews, social mentions, references from other creators and publishers. Each of these increases the likelihood that the next person searching for a solution to the problem the product solves will find it. The product gets more discoverable over time, not because of additional investment, because of the accumulation of digital footprint that builds passively around a product that has existed long enough to develop one. The second compounding mechanism is trust. A product that has been purchased by 1,000 customers and reviewed positively by hundreds of them is structurally different from a new product with no track record. The social proof accumulates. The credibility builds. The trust that makes the next customer's decision easier is a function of every previous customer who bought and validated the product. That trust doesn't depreciate the way physical inventory does. A product with 500 five-star reviews doesn't need those reviews refreshed. They continue persuading new customers long after they were written. The asset accumulates social proof that compounds its conversion rate, making each new potential customer more likely to buy than the ones who came before. The third compounding mechanism is the relationship between products. A creator who publishes one digital product has a customer base. A creator who publishes 5 has a catalog. And a catalog behaves differently from a single product. Each product introduces customers to the creator's broader work. Each satisfied customer is a potential buyer of the next product. The revenue from the catalog grows faster than the revenue from any single product because each new product benefits from the audience and trust that the previous products built. The products compound off each other. The audience built by one becomes the launch pad for the next. Most creators and small business owners think about digital products in terms of the launch. How many sales at launch? What the first week looks like? Whether the initial revenue justifies the effort. But digital products that are built correctly, that solve a real problem, that are positioned in a searchable category, that are supported by a growing body of trust, don't peak at launch. They grow after launch. As distribution compounds, as trust accumulates, as the catalog expands around them. The launch is just the beginning of the asset's productive life, not the moment its value is determined.
The economics of digital products are real. Zero marginal cost, compounding distribution, accumulating trust, catalog leverage. These aren't theoretical properties. They're the structural mechanics behind some of the most scalable income models available to independent creators and small businesses. But they're not automatic, and they're not universal. Digital products have real limitations, structural ones, that determine whether the economics actually materialize or remain theoretical. The first structural limitation is discoverability. Zero marginal cost only produces leverage if there are customers to sell to. And finding customers for a digital product requires solving a discoverability problem that many creators underestimate. The product exists on the internet, alongside millions of other digital products solving similar problems. Getting in front of the right buyers requires distribution, search presence, audience, platform, referrals. That takes significant time and effort to build. The economics of the product are only accessible after the discoverability problem is solved, and solving it is often the hardest part of the entire model. The second limitation is commoditization. Digital products can be copied, replicated, or undercut in ways physical products often can't. A methodology that was novel in one year may be freely available in blog posts and YouTube videos the next. A template that commanded a premium when it was unique becomes one of hundreds of similar options as the category matures. The economics of scarcity don't apply to digital products in the same way, which means the products that maintain their value are the ones tied to a specific creator's perspective, methodology, or ongoing relationship with the buyer, not just to the information itself. Information commoditizes. Perspective and relationship are harder to replicate. The third limitation is trust. Digital products are purchased before they're experienced. The buyer can't hold the product, test it, or verify its quality before they decide to pay, which means trust is the primary variable in the purchase decision, not the product itself. A creator with no established reputation faces a significant trust barrier that a physical product in a store doesn't face in the same way. The buyer can see the physical product. They can evaluate it before purchasing. They rely on the brand reputation, but they have tangible information. The digital product buyer relies almost entirely on the creator's reputation, the social proof around the product, and the signals of credibility the creator has built through content and presence. These limitations don't invalidate the model. They contextualize it. The digital product economics work, but they work for creators who have solved the discoverability problem, who have built or are building trust, who are positioned in a way that differentiates them from the commoditized version of their category. Without those elements, the zero marginal cost and the compounding distribution remain theoretical. The economics are available. The access to them is earned through the distribution, the trust, and the differentiation that make a buyer choose your product over the countless alternatives. If this shifted something for you, subscribe. Like this if it clarified something.